Deuteronomy 18 through 22. In following the larger story of the Bible, I think chapter 18, beginning at verse 9 to the end of the chapter, gives us something to really watch for long term. We have in the verses here a list of the most comprehensive list ever given in the Bible of someone here who consults the divine world for information, and even the world of the dead. And they didn't know much about the dead, of course, but we'll see stories of that in the Bible to come. This list, of course, did not mean that it was a waste of time. It didn't mean it was ineffective. In fact, that's the whole point, that this was a very real world, and God did not want Israel, when they went into Canaan, to be tempted to listen to information from this world. In response to that, we have in verses 15 to 22 this story to watch for, that Moses said that God would send, verse 15, people of his own choosing, or call upon people of his own choosing from anywhere, from any time, to speak for him. They would be called a prophet, not different than this world, of course, too, in name. But it's different in this sense that the prophet, verse 18, would speak for Yahweh. So you'll hear phrases like, the most common, "Thus saith the Lord." And you know that person, whoever it might be. Again, it could be anyone from anywhere in the land of Israel. There's no line like a Levite or priest that will be called to be a prophet. So a Jeremiah or an Isaiah or an Amos, a sheep herder, anyone God can do this with. Very importantly, in verse 20, it says he will not speak for the gods of Canaan at all. And then, of course, verse 22, most amazing of all, everything that this person says when he speaks for Yahweh will come true. So this is important, again, to the larger story of the Bible. And by the way, I do think, when I think in terms of storyline of the Bible, I don't listen for whispers as much as I just listen for, shouts or very strong statements that are picked up word for word later. And one of them will be this idea of a prophet to come, because there will be a succession of these people. But in the New Testament, you know, or you could guess what happens, that Jesus will be considered the greatest prophet of all. So in Acts 3 and Acts 7, he is called the prophet, capital P in our translations often today. So that will be a story to watch for. It's predicted for the real first time here in Deuteronomy chapter 18. One more thing to watch for, and let me give you a Hebrew word that's often mistranslated, tamim, often mistranslated as perfect in our modern English, but that sounds very mechanical, almost mathematical. It's translated as whole in verse 13 in the Jewish Bible, actually wholehearted. And what it means is us. We are the person standing, as it were, between these two voices. And Moses says to this person listening, you need to be wholehearted in your fear of Yahweh. Very important idea, again, to watch for, because what's going to happen all the way into the New Testament is the concept of double-mindedness. Dipsychos in Greek. It sounds worse in Greek than in English, but it actually is a bad thing, because double-minded often has in our English versions this sense of, well, I'm just not sure, I'm kind of waffling. No, a double-minded person in the Bible is going to go after both worlds. I'm going to want information from both God and created spirits, and that is going to be an act of wickedness in this story to come.